Did Jungkook really whisper, "I want to retire," during a mysterious midnight run? Why are fans suddenly panicking? And what shocking clues have everyone talking? Read this fictional entertainment story and share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more fan fiction content. What if one sentence spoken in the middle of the night could send an entire fandom into a frenzy? What if a global superstar suddenly disappeared into the darkness, running through empty streets while carrying a burden nobody expected? And what if the words that escape his lips were so shocking that millions of fans could not stop talking about them? Those were the questions spreading across social media in this fictional story, as rumors exploded among fans around the world. According to the imaginary scenario, Jungkook was seen running alone through the city shortly after midnight. The streets were quiet. The lights from nearby buildings reflected against the pavement. Most people were asleep. Yet somewhere in the darkness, a moment unfolded that would soon become the center of endless speculation. Witnesses in this fictional narrative claimed that the singer appeared unusually thoughtful. Instead of his usual energetic presence, he seemed lost in deep reflection. The atmosphere felt different. Every step he took appeared heavier than the last. There was no stage, no music, and no cheering crowd. There was only silence. Then came the statement that allegedly changed everything. "I want to retire." The word spread rapidly through online communities within minutes. Nobody knew the full context. Nobody knew whether the phrase was serious, emotional, or simply part of a personal reflection. Yet that did not stop fans from reacting. Within moments, thousands of comments began appearing online. Is he okay? What happened? Could there be problems behind the scenes? The questions multiplied faster than answers. In this fictional story, ARMY members around the world found themselves refreshing their social media feeds repeatedly. Every new post became a potential clue. Every photograph was examined. Every video was analyzed frame by frame. Some fans believed the statement reflected exhaustion after years of non-stop schedules. Others wondered whether hidden pressures had finally become overwhelming. A few even speculated about possible internal conflicts, though no evidence existed to support any theory. The uncertainty itself became the biggest story. Hours earlier, everything had seemed perfectly normal. Fans were celebrating recent activities and discussing future projects. Excitement filled online communities. Nobody expected that a single late-night moment would completely change the conversation. As the fictional narrative continued, countless theories emerged. Some believed Jungkook had simply reached a moment of emotional honesty. After years of performing before millions of people, perhaps he was reflecting on the sacrifices required by global fame. Perhaps he was thinking about the endless travel, the pressure to meet expectations, and the challenge of maintaining a public image every day. Others suggested that the statement might not have been literal at all. Human beings often express frustration during difficult moments. A single sentence spoken during an emotional night does not always represent a final decision. Could the words have reflected temporary stress rather than a genuine desire to leave everything behind? Nobody knew. That mystery only fueled more discussion. As sunrise approached in this fictional scenario, social media became increasingly emotional. Messages of support appeared everywhere. Fans shared memories of concerts, performances, and personal moments that had inspired them over the years. Many expressed gratitude for the happiness his music had brought into their lives. The atmosphere shifted from panic to reflection. People began discussing the hidden challenges faced by celebrities. While fans often see glamorous performances and public appearances, they rarely witness the struggles that occur behind closed doors. The fictional situation encouraged many to think about mental and emotional well-being, reminding everyone that even the most successful individuals can experience moments of uncertainty. Meanwhile, the mystery deepened. New rumors appeared claiming that close friends had attempted to contact him. Other stories suggested that management teams were monitoring the growing speculation. None of the claims could be verified within the fictional narrative, but that did not stop the internet from discussing them. Every hour brought a new theory. Every theory brought new questions. And every question intensified the emotional roller coaster experienced by fans. What made the situation especially powerful was the contrast between Jungkook's public image and the vulnerability suggested by the rumored statement. For years, Fans had admired his confidence, talent, and determination. The idea that someone so successful could be wrestling with difficult emotions resonated deeply with many people. Throughout the fictional story, supporters continued sending messages of encouragement. They emphasized that health and happiness should always come before career obligations. They reminded one another that genuine support means respecting personal well-being rather than demanding constant performances. As discussions continued, another perspective emerged. What if the entire incident had been misunderstood? What if a private moment had been taken out of context? What if the words spreading across the internet represented only a fraction of a much larger conversation? Those possibilities created even more uncertainty. By afternoon, online communities remained divided between concern, curiosity, and hope. Some expected an official explanation. Others preferred to wait patiently before drawing conclusions. The emotional intensity that began with a single sentence had evolved into a worldwide conversation about fame, pressure, expectations, and personal happiness. In the final chapter of this fictional narrative, one message became louder than all the rumors: support. Regardless of what people believed, countless fans agreed on one thing: the importance of compassion. Instead of focusing solely on speculation, many chose to focus on kindness. They shared positive memories, encouraging messages, and reminders that every person deserves understanding during difficult times. The mystery remained unresolved. The questions remained unanswered. Yet perhaps that uncertainty carried its own lesson. Sometimes people do not need immediate judgment. Sometimes they simply need space. Sometimes the most meaningful response is not speculation but empathy. And so the fictional story ended where it began, with a question. If your favorite artist suddenly revealed a hidden struggle, would you focus on the rumors, or would you focus on supporting the person behind the spotlight? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Do you think the rumored statement was a serious confession, a misunderstood moment, or something entirely different? Like, comment, and subscribe for more fictional entertainment stories and fan discussions. As evening approached in this fictional story, the atmosphere across fan communities became even more intense. What had started as a mysterious midnight moment had now transformed into a global discussion involving millions of people. Every minute seemed to bring a new rumor, a new screenshot, or a new theory. Some claimed they had discovered hidden clues from previous appearances. Others insisted that subtle signs had been visible for weeks. Yet despite the endless analysis, nobody could say with certainty what was really happening. The uncertainty created a strange emotional tension. Fans wanted answers, but answers never arrived. Instead, more questions continued to emerge. Could the pressure of worldwide fame finally be catching up to him? Was there a personal reason behind the emotional statement? Had something happened that nobody outside his inner circle knew about? The lack of information became the fuel that kept the conversation alive. In this fictional narrative, online communities around the world remained active throughout the night. Messages poured in from every continent. Some fans shared stories about how Jungkook's music had helped them through difficult periods of their own lives. Others wrote emotional letters expressing gratitude and support. Many admitted they had never imagined hearing words that sounded so uncertain from someone they viewed as one of the strongest performers in the entertainment industry. The emotional impact was impossible to ignore. For years, millions had watched him grow from a young artist into a global icon. They had celebrated victories, milestones, awards, and unforgettable performances. They had seen confidence on stage and determination in interviews. Because of that image, the possibility that he might be struggling privately felt deeply personal to many supporters. Meanwhile, fictional reports continued circulating about the midnight run itself. Some descriptions portrayed him running faster and faster as though trying to escape something invisible. Others claimed he repeatedly stopped and stared into the distance. A few stories suggested he spent long periods walking alone after the run ended. None of these accounts could be confirmed within the narrative, but each one added another layer to the mystery. As speculation intensified, another surprising development occurred. The footage was blurry. The lighting was poor. The audio was almost impossible to understand. Some viewers believed the video confirmed the retirement rumor. Others argued that the words being discussed could not actually be heard. The disagreement only increased public curiosity. Soon, hashtags related to the fictional incident began trending worldwide. The conversation expanded beyond dedicated fan communities. Casual observers started asking questions. Entertainment commentators discussed possible explanations. Even people who rarely followed celebrity news became aware of the story. What was originally a private moment had become an international phenomenon. Inside the fictional world of the narrative, concern continued growing among supporters. Many emphasized that regardless of the truth, nobody should feel pressured to carry impossible expectations forever. Discussions about mental health became increasingly common. Fans spoke openly about stress, burnout, and the emotional cost of living under constant public attention. The conversation gradually shifted from rumors towards something more meaningful. People began reflecting on the reality behind fame. From the outside, success often appears perfect. Audiences see concerts, awards, magazine covers, and smiling photographs. What remains hidden are the sacrifices required to maintain that success. Endless travel, demanding schedules, public scrutiny, and overwhelming expectations can create pressures that ordinary people rarely experience. Within this fictional story, those themes resonated strongly. As midnight approached once again, exactly 24 hours after the original incident, anticipation reached its highest point. Many believed an explanation was finally coming. Fans refreshed their phones repeatedly. Communities remained active despite the late hour. Everyone waited. Everyone watched. Everyone hoped. Then another unexpected rumor appeared. According to fictional sources, someone close to Jungkook allegedly claimed that the statement had been taken out of context. The source suggested that the words were part of a larger conversation about life, growth, and personal goals rather than a genuine retirement announcement. The rumor spread instantly. Some fans felt relieved. Others remained skeptical. Without confirmation, uncertainty still dominated the discussion. Yet the possibility of a misunderstanding introduced a new perspective. What if people had reacted to only a small fragment of a much larger story? What if the truth was far less dramatic than the internet imagined? Those questions reminded many observers how quickly speculation can grow when information is incomplete. Hours later, another emotional wave swept through online communities. Fans began sharing favorite memories once again. Concert clips resurfaced. Old interviews were rediscovered. Messages of appreciation flooded timelines around the world. The focus was no longer solely on retirement rumors. Instead, people began celebrating the impact Jungkook had already made throughout his career. The shift created a noticeably different atmosphere. Fear slowly gave way to gratitude. Panic gradually transformed into support. And while questions remained unanswered, the emotional tone became more positive. In the fictional narrative, many supporters reached the same conclusion. Regardless of future decisions, artists are human beings before they are entertainers. They deserve happiness. They deserve rest. They deserve understanding. Most importantly, they deserve the freedom to make personal choices without being defined entirely by public expectations. As dawn arrived on the second day, the mystery still lingered. Nobody knew exactly what had happened during the midnight run. Nobody knew what thoughts had been passing through his mind. Nobody knew whether the statement represented frustration, reflection, exhaustion, or something else entirely. Yet perhaps the greatest surprise of the entire story was not the rumor itself. Perhaps the real story was the response. Millions of people from different countries, cultures, and backgrounds had come together because they cared about one person. They shared concern. They shared kindness. They shared hope. And in a world often dominated by conflict and division, that collective compassion became the most powerful moment of all. But was the mystery truly over? Or was an even bigger revelation waiting just around the corner? As fans continued watching for answers, one thing remained certain. The story was far from finished.